Hi there, I'm Andre from Peak Motorcycles. I'm here at EICMA 2025 in Milan in Italy, and I'm here on the Suzuki stand, which is very brightly lit, which makes a nice change. They have a couple of new bikes here this year, which might be interesting to people, and then I can show you around what else they have on the stand as well. So we're going to start off with the DRZ4SM. This is the Supermoto version of the old DRZ400 that they launched last year with a few extra bells and whistles. Grey and white available here now. Moving up, but we then have the dual sport versions, the 4S, both the yellow and the grey. We're now into the V-Stroms, so it's getting quite busy now. Here we have the V-Strom 800 in the red, and I think, is that also the 800, the DE in the yellow? That one's got all the trick bits on, including the Akrapovic pipe and the Suzuki luggage. But yeah, really tidy. I think they're almost like an unsung part of that middleweight adventure bike market. I think as a sort of tourer, they do very well. I know some people have gone long distances on them. Here we have a pink one in pink and black. I suspect that is not a stock colour. I think that's a Giro d'Italia, either escort or filming bike. But yeah, this certainly shows they get around a bit. Here we have the V-Strom 1050 DE. So this is the bigger one. Again, this one comes fully luggaged up. With all the other bells and whistles that come with it, including those little crash bars and the spotlights. Some friends of mine did around the world on the earlier version of this, I think it was the V-Strom 1000, and yeah, got them all the way around and back. This one, as you can see, it's got that nice TFT dash, again with a sun visor. I wish my BMW had one of those. It's a nice fat nav bar up there as well for putting something a bit more practical. A few things look a little bit aftermarket, like that fog light switch in there. As I come out and show you the crash bars, those are actually a big set of fog lamps are down there, and I think those are the stock Suzuki ones. In this corner we have a couple of their motocross bikes. I know that's not really what people come to EICMA for, it's only who come to my channel for both the 450 and the 250. And then because people asked about scooters, here we have the Bergman 400, which certainly looks quite civilized. I quite like the lines on that. That's sort of very flowing, and I'm sure you can tour on these things. So I have a couple of smaller scooters, this one called an Address, and then an E-Address, I guess the electrical equivalent. Apparently it is spot on, the new e-scooter standard. Just two more on this corner, the Bergman Street X, and then the Avensis Avenue. Right then, let's go up and have a look at something a little bit more interesting on the other side of the stand. So after phasing out Super Sports, the GSX-R 1000 is back. And this is the GSX-1000 40th anniversary edition. And I must admit, that is very striking. I did love the light blue GSX-1000 that they did in the MotoGP colours, and nearly bought one from SMC in Sheffield a few years ago, and then had a quiet word with myself about how long I'd last on it. But yeah, that looks fabulous. Love it. And here we have two other 40th anniversary bikes. So this one in like the red and white with the gold, and then we have a yellow with blue accents over there. Okay, so we have a few nakeds over here. I think that's the GSX-125, which is yeah, quite small, ideal sort of first bike. Another one just in here, and then we're up into the sports tourers. I think this is a GSX-S in the blue and white. It's in black behind me, but I think seeing one of those is probably enough. Here we have the GSX-S 1000 in blue. Again, as a sports tourer in the white, GSX-S GT. I mean, I do think those look pretty good. There aren't that many bikes like that out there anymore, and I think Suzuki do a great job with it. Still a Hayabusa. Still going after all these years. I think they had the 30th anniversary a few years ago. Now they're just still wheeling them out. I mean, they are quite special. They're an incredible motorcycle, and the things people have done with them, I just kind of feel that they are getting a little bit old now. Here we have another GSX-1000. I think that's probably my preferred colour scheme of all of them. I really love that with the red and black with the blue line. I think that's stunning. Yeah, maybe this is actually a race bike rather than the standard street bike. As you can see, somebody's removed the ignition barrel. Not only that, but it's got full slicks on it and no number plate. Right, a few more then. So here we have the GSX-8R, which is sort of the sort of half-fared version of the 800cc bike. Again, it's quite subtle, all in black. Even little features like those little crash bobbins down there are kind of cool. Here we have the new Katana. I know it's got slightly funny looks, but the old one was the same. I quite like it. You know, they're still here, they're still running. They've still got that sort of retro look, but completely updated for the new version. And yeah, that's one of the few bikes on the Suzuki stand that I'm always pleased to see every year. I like particularly what they've done with that headlamp that looks a little bit old school, like the old square format, but with the LED bulb. Then we have three GSX-8s. So these are the naked 800cc twins, both in the black and the blue. And then I do quite like that with the touring kit, with the tank bag and the rear panniers in red, with the black gloss paintwork and the belly pan. I mean, yeah, all of that together is quite a nice looking motorcycle. Right then, this is maybe a bike that people are interested in seeing. This is the new Suzuki SV-7GX. It is a new sports tourer. It is a new 700cc. It's either 650 or a 700. It's got the GX. It has the GX name. It's also on the 1000GX. But you might notice a few things about it that remind you of something. That trellis frame, even that fuel tank shape, that seat. Yeah, there is a lot of things that are familiar on this bike. Yeah, so this one has, I can give you, it's got all the accessories on it. If I show you down this side with the Akrapovic and the crash bungs, and the tank bag, and all the luggage. And yeah, if it does look a little bit familiar, it's because it probably is. I'm pretty sure that this is essentially a sports tourer version of the SV650. And let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. I thought the SV650 was a cracking bike. I know they probably kept it around for a while after others might, but to reuse it, to have a bike like this with a V-twin in it, is something a bit different from the parallel twins that are out there. And I think in these two colour schemes, in the blue, you can see just over there, and this sort of silver and pearl look with the red wheels, I think that looks quite nice. I mean, I guess that's up against things like the Triumph 660 and the Yamaha Tracer 7. But if you want something Suzuki, if you want a V-twin instead of a parallel twin, I think you could do a lot worse than that. I think Suzuki have done a cracking job there. So the one thing that I didn't really notice when I was doing the walk around, and I can certainly see it from this angle, is that single light in the middle, underneath there. I don't know, what do you think? I mean, when you just look at the eyes above it, it looks kind of menacing. With it's those five lights together, I don't know, is that crazy to suggest that looks a little bit like a mouse with its two eyes, the nose and the ears out the sides? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm not making any sense. But yeah, I mean, I do think it's certainly a very striking bike. Certainly when viewed from the side, if I just pan round to the one with the red wheels, I think that looks pretty cool. I do love that, both in the blue and in the white with the red wheels. Right then, that is it for me from Suzuki for this year at EICMA. Yeah, it's kind of nice to see that new sports tourer and see the other things that they're doing. Yeah, I think they've played safe with a lot of things lately, and I think, you know, repurposing the SV650 into a sports tourer is not a bad idea. But in the same way as the DRZ, keeping the 5-speed transmission and the cost fairly high, I'm sure they'll sell some of them, but I'm not sure how competitive those will be. If this is well equipped and well priced, I'm sure it'll do well as a sports tourer. Anyway, that's it for me for now from here. So please check out my other content from EICMA, and maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.